And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you. Akwaba and welcome. Welcome to another round of Culturally Conscious Communications here on the LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com networks. My name is Kidi Awadu, a.k.a. The Conscious Rasta, and weekday mornings, we come at you live from 9 a.m. Pacific Time, that's 12 noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 7 p.m. East Africa Time. We get together with you to do with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives, a broad spectrum of activities related to human development and human interactivity. Today's date is Wednesday, the 8th of November, 2017 in the Western calendar. That's 6258 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. Back in the studio after having a whirlwind set of activities there in Columbus, Ohio. It was extremely productive. And I want to say thanks to all my capital city friends and family there for treating us so good. We had a most wonderful, productive time and really reached a lot of people, both Terry and I, selling our books and talking to the people and sharing our testimonies about this living superfood dynamic and what it means in our lives. I'll talk about that more a little bit later this week. In our second hour today, Irby Phillips Jr. will not be with us for the rest of the week as he is in a series of conferences. But in our second hour today, I'm going to touch upon some of the research that I covered in my book, Living Superfood Longevity, as well as I covered it in an earlier book, Off the Weight, 30 Days to a Brand New Year. We're going to talk about aging. So today in our second hour, let's do a science class on microbiology, genetics, and reversing the aging process. Let's talk about telomeres. So I know how some of y'all, when we go into science, your eyes roll back in your head and you have a tendency to tune out. But I can assure you, if living long and living healthy, staying young is your intent, if that is your plan, then this is a set of studies that you definitely do want to know about. In our first hour, we're going to be joined, as we are about this time every month, Brother Bomani Tayemba is going to join us. We'll be talking about travel to Africa, investing and building a future on our mother continent. And also those of you who enjoy this topic, enjoy this conversation, you can learn much, much more about what Brother Bomani does at www.africafortheafricans.org. Brother Bomani Tayemba joining us via Skype line. Akwaba, welcome to you, Brother Bomani.
Yes, greetings, family, and greetings, Brother Kidi. How you feeling today?
I feel all right. I feel good. You knew that I would. How is my brother today?
I wish you were rolling to Ghana, Togo, and Benin with us like you did in October of 2009, which was one of those epic journeys, 3 countries, all right there in the heart of West Africa.
Oh, yeah, that was just the most awesome trip. You know, over the weekend, as I was traveling around Ohio, I asked a lot of the people who would come out, you know, have you ever been to Africa? And unfortunately, in, you know, certain parts of the country, the answer to that is like near zero. And I said, well, get ready, prepare yourself, because it is one of the most life-transforming, magnificent experiences I've ever had. And like yourself, once you've done it one time, you just want to do it again and again.
Absolutely. And we're getting ready to head out in approximately 9 days, November 17th. Like sooner than later. So next week, Friday, we're getting ready to connect. Right now, we're 43 strong. So that's our tour group leaving here from the African diaspora to Ghana, Togo, and Benin for our 13th Ghana journey. And what I'm really looking to get in place is the annual journey that we've moved to May. This one is May 23rd to June 5th, 2018. And this is 4 regions of Ghana, including the Bronghafa region, where we'll be going around Techiman, where we have the land site, and where we have the Benue village. And beyond that, you have the 3 main regions. So that's my best itinerary, and I feel like it's the best introduction for anyone who never been to the African continent and want to connect to a cultural country like Ghana and get access to a full flow of itinerary, which includes roots, culture, business, investment, nightlife, shopping, networking, a whole lot of social environment, and connecting with the group itself. So that's what I'm looking to do, and it's literally 6 months away. So we're literally just reaching out and been collecting deposits so we can build that group. And as you know, we have to start building groups early, 6 months to 1 year, or catch up on you. But we also have Brazil in July, and Ethiopia and Tanzania November, all in 2018. So that's our current schedule, and looking to add more and more of our people to this, enjoy these beautiful roots and culture experience. And what I'm also encouraging our people to do is to do a straight cutback protest on unnecessary spending, because sometimes you can't have it both ways, where you spend and then enjoy that 2-week getaway. So even if it's just for 1 or 2 years, for the end of the year, it's a good idea just to cut back, tell your loved ones that you're making a move to Africa, and you're gonna put your deposit down, and you're gonna make your payments, and what you're gonna do is cut back on additional spending. You're not gonna buy any family members any gifts. You're gonna cut back on certain things. I don't want to specify all these details, but it's that sacrifice that we have to make on the cutback in order for us to have certain resources and cash flow to enjoy these journeys. But they are attainable to more of us, especially certain people who have revolving income, working for corporations or just independent business, or people who have capital. You just have to look at it the way as, what is your priorities and what can you adjust to make this journey. And also, this is also an investment into a possibility where you can live and do business on the African continent, because we talk about some of the best investment and some of the best countries to live in, as far as where your money go longer and where you get a peace, a quality of life, lay back outside of this consistent rat race that most of us deal with in these major cities in America.
Excellent points that you make. I want to touch on the various points separately, and as a significant part of our conversation today, as well as every talk I have with you about Africa, is this idea of investing. Now, I've recalculated the seasonal holiday shopping numbers for Africans in America. Afro-Americans is the term I generally use. It is predicted that this year, between Halloween and probably about the first 10 days of January, Afro-Americans are predicted to spend $77 billion above their normal year-long spending pattern for the holiday shopping. A third of the nation's shopping, I think a quarter to a third of the nation's shopping, is concentrated just in this seasonal holiday shopping. Now, we understand that these holidays and these traditions are very important, a part of culture, etc. But when we're talking about investment, which is specifically one of the themes, the major themes we're talking about today, that amount of money, and in the months of November and December alone, is expected to reach $62 billion in just those 2 months alone. When we talk about investment, that investment done right could be bringing a return on investment. Last year, our people spent about $58.1 billion November and December on holiday shopping. My question to you, Brother Bomani, what return on investment did African Americans get last year from all of that holiday spending?
Zero, because when you're not the producers of things and you're just a consumer, it just goes out. Nothing is coming back, or nothing is being reinvested. So the answer to that is zero, and more zeros.
I couldn't say zero because I know probably 2% of that money was spent with black-owned businesses. But
all right, good point, excellent.
But that though doesn't mitigate the losses from spending outside. So if 2% of black-owned businesses would have been recipients benefiting from that level of investment, while the other 98% is being spent that doesn't return direct investment to our community, then it's less than zero return on that investment. And that's just not very smart. Our black economists aren't really putting this in context. Now, here's the point I want to make. You and I know, and many other people listening to us know, that China has been investing all across Africa now for a better part of 3 decades. And China has become Africa's leading trade partner by far, by I think a factor of about 10 times America's trade with African nations. And America used to be the leader. Now China is 10 times more than them. In 1 year, 2013, African American spending for Christmas holiday shopping above and beyond normal pattern was almost exactly the same number that China invested that year in, I think, 124 projects across Africa, for which, with their increase in trade, they got a 5-to-1 return on investment. Invest $1, get $5 back in trade. Brother Bomani, I think there's a possibility that Afro-Americans could completely change their destiny if they would just listen to what you said, extract yourself from all of this hyped up, emotional, psychologically manipulated holiday shopping, and consider the long-term benefits of doing things like investing in the fastest growing middle class, fastest growing consumer market region of the world. And what continent is that, Brother Bomani?
Yes, family, the African continent.
That's true. Your thoughts?
Yes, as we see all races and nations of people traveling, flying into Africa beyond just tourism. They're investing, they're doing certain things, and that's because the market is right, and the market is great, and it's something that we try to just keep on sharing with our people. The fact that that you know, whatever they think about Africa and investment, they have to just recalculate their mindset and get those images out of their mind and really just focus on what we're dealing with. We're talking about the most mineral-rich continent, and we're talking about opportunities that are laid out to where, you know, when we start thinking in the mindset of manufacturing, you know, other nation-building concepts, putting in certain infrastructure. You know, I hear people say that I don't want to move to Africa because it's underdeveloped and certain things like that. And I'm like, if you're looking at that concept, look at the aspect of why would you want to wait till other people put all the infrastructure and everything in so they can own it, and then you have to pay, you know, pay for everything, when you can be a part of the future and the growth of investing and being a part of the different communities. And that's why we're talking about communal projects like Benue Village, being a part of actual sustainable community, and looking to this really establish a foundation for repatriation, so we can really just help people, and, you know, also put things together like help people invest and manage their projects and investments. Sometimes you just need good connections there on the ground, and that's what we really want to also build, so people can really see, you know, the vast opportunities.
Mm-hmm. When we're talking about Africa, unfortunately, the image that has been burned into far too many people's minds has been the Africa of deprivation. Big-bellied, starving children with flies around their mouth and their eyes. War, destitution, incredible poverty. Now, Africa has its challenges. Some of those images can be seen, even though they have been grossly exaggerated in the Western media. You do see poor children, but many times these poor children are well fed because the community makes sure that the children get to eat. But when we're talking about these images of Africa, a lot of people can't understand that where Afro-Americans are in America, if they were able to translate that same relative wealth to Africa, they would be in the upper class of wealthy. Let's give an example. Let's say someone has a career, a nice career, they've paid for their house, maybe they have $300,000 equity in their house. They have a retirement pension of $2,500 a month. If they were to translate, and they may have savings of $80,000, $100,000. If they were to translate that $80,000 of cash, $2,500 a month coming in, and $300,000 of equity in their real estate, if they were to translate that to a region like the Gold Coast region of Ghana, Cape Coast region or in any of the other countries, Benin, you might even get a better deal. What could they expect to own with that level of investment?
You can own the infrastructure of your investment. You can own the foundation of it.
Well, if someone, let's say someone had a total of about $400,000 to $500,000 that they could move to Africa and invest.
A small manufacturing plant.
Maybe a bed and breakfast with 12 rooms and workers there working on the property, living on the property.
Absolutely, and you can also invest in a transportation company. With that kind of capital, you can acquire several buses and do tourism. So that's one of the concepts that I'm always into is the act of tourism, because tourism deal with logistics, moving people, buses, hotels in and out, arrangements. So things around people moving, and then also when we think about investment, think about agriculture, getting into more of cash crops. We hear some of our brothers talking more about investment in hemp products in Ghana and so on. So that's another aspect of it. But ultimately, these are ways you can also own your investments to where where it's a small time investment versus something where it takes multi-million of dollars. And that's one of the best things about Ghana. You have markets where you can get in at a small pace. Even if you did investments in treasury bills, stocks and bonds, and things like that, or basic import-export.
Now, is it true that Africans don't like African Americans?
That's farthest from the truth. The way we look at it is, if you carry yourself with a certain bad attitude to Africa, you can't expect people to just show you love. So you carry yourself respectfully and you show love, you get love. But in general, when you go to the African continent, the 9 countries I've been to, we are well received and respected and loved. The only time you have an issue is when you start acting funny or start acting out yourself like you're better than people, or you are shunning people. But other than that, you talk about hospitality at its greatest. The love and energy of our people across the board is incredible, and that's why people like myself keep going back to the African continent, because it's that continuous love. Especially like Ghana. Ghana is just a country where it's been just incredible. I can't really mention or say that I had 1 or 2 bad moments in Ghana, because I haven't. It's been just beautiful. I'm not saying that it's a perfect world, but we also carry ourselves respectfully, and we show love, and we do wonderful things in the country, so we're received well. So those who feel a certain way about African content, they have to ask themselves, what have you done, or how have you carried yourself? And then some people just come up with that in theory because they just hear things and they have no experience on it. But that's why it's important for those who have not been to the African continent to come on a journey like we have, an organized journey with other group members from different parts of the U.S., and then experience Africa together with your own peers.
That's beautiful. For one, you get a chance to benefit from the travel experiences of other people on the group. And you say you have 43 people. Wow, that's an awesome group. Congratulations on that. But also, I have found, and perhaps this is your experience as well, that the people, whenever I make these trips with a large group, when I come back home, I feel like I've expanded my family by 6, 8, 10, a dozen or more people. Like, we're going to stay close. We're going to stay together because we share this incredible experience from the heart. Have you found that to be true as well?
Yes, that's most of the people I know today and I connect with is those people who have traveled over the years and we've built a certain relationship. Because when you're looking, when you're in a certain conscious element, it's not. You don't meet people. You don't meet a whole group of people like this on a day-to-day basis in any city or any specific location, and that's the incredible thing about it. Yeah, some of our best people are coming from many different parts of the nation. Some that were born in the Caribbean that live here, and that's what makes that incredible group. So when you connect with people, you're connecting with a family that's been your family consciously, but we've just been separated from different places. And then now we're coming together and just enjoying a journey. So a lot of people do carry that relationship on, and some people have just repatriated together, and some people are, or you know, they have, like here in Atlanta, so we have connected so many people to where you have this a whole lot of just new family and friends that are connected, and people doing wonderful things together, including investing and working on many projects.
This may be a bit of a stretch, but you tell me whether this sounds feasible or not. When I think about the people who have accompanied us on this trip, and when I think about people who have repatriated, such as Brother Daudi, Brother Brandon, and Sister Imacus, not only have they found wonderful financial success by repatriating, but when I look at Sister Imacus, when I look at Brother Daudi, and Brandon is of course a young man, but when I look at them, they actually look like they are rejuvenated. They actually look, Brother Bomani, like they're 20, 30 years younger than their biological age. Is that your observation as well?
That's definitely an observation. The reason why that is, you're in an incredible tropical environment in the world. A lot of the things that you're used to eating and used to, dealing with, it's speeding up the growth of your body. But when you're dealing with more natural elements and you're eating, and you're eating from the land, and you're doing more walking and exercising naturally, because it's not a situation where all of us live in the suburbs and we just get in our vehicles and we drive everywhere and we never even walk down the block. So all those effects, and then you being in a humble environment where it's not like fast-paced rat race, 24/7 madness, and that helps your body. So I believe that it's more like that reversing age effect, and like you're talking about a fountain of youth, repatriating and getting back into the culture of things is that fountain.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. We are live and direct today. It is Wednesday, the 8th of November. Yeah, we're back in the studio. We're live. We got Brother Bomani Tayemba from the organization Africa for the Africans.org. We're talking about your repatriation journey of a lifetime, your investment opportunities, development opportunities, your ability to be a big determinant of the future of yourself, your family's intergenerational wealth. And we're talking about closing a 500-year cycle of history and the restoration of African people, Africa Rising, as we call it. I want to hear from you, our listening audience. And Bomani would love to talk to you as well. Give us a call to speak with Brother Bomani at area code 646-716-9835. That'll get you right through to our Blog Talk Radio queue. You can always find the number on the front page of libradio.com. Press the 1 button if you're in the queue and you would like to speak to Bomani about your future experiences traveling to the mother continent. Brother Bomani, how many times have you been to Africa now?
I've been to 9 different countries in Africa, and I've been to Ghana itself. Coming up, I'll be 13 times. And
that is awesome.
A few other countries multiple times. I've been to Senegal 3 times, Gambia once, Togo and Benin once, South Africa twice, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Egypt once.
Wow. Awesome. Really awesome. I've had a chance to travel 7 different times to the mother continent, and with most of them with Africa for the Africans. And I, like you, can't wait to go back anytime and every time. Can't wait to return to our mother continent and deepen those connections we have with people over there. Some people still think Africa is dangerous. They may look at the headlines. They see an election crisis taking place in Kenya, which has been taking place. I talked to some people on the ground in Kenya, and they say you can be assured the American and British press are exaggerating the conflict, as they are also pumping up the conflict by supporting one group over the other, despite the fact that people vote, their loyalties. Now, we do know there is a persistent problem with quote unquote tribalism and elections, etc. But is Africa safe, Brother Bomani?
Absolutely. The safest countries I've been to is on the African continent. I was in Ghana, and then you was in we're in Ethiopia together, we had no issues of safety or security issue or any problems. Or while we were there, it was no known civil unrest or anything crazy. And over the years, the same thing in Ghana. And as you move around, so you realistically, you know, when you're there so many times and you're moving around, you can realistically make that judgment: is Africa really safe? And you know, then I would have to say absolutely yes. And that's the reason why we're looking to move our operation to countries like Ghana, because we believe it has a culture, it's safe and peaceful, and people like ourselves, we love peace. Every other day, I have a different friend calling me, telling me, "Did you hear about this amount of people that got killed? 20-something people, 30-something, 50-something," and it's just, or did you hear about this black man that got unarmed black man that got killed? And it is continuous. And when you you know, when you're there in Ghana and you hear about news and things like that, it's nothing related to violence or hatred or death. It's it's general news. So it's one of those things, and one of the reasons why we push for more of our people to make those sacrifices and invest in traveling to the African continent and experiencing the experience for themselves, because it's one of those things where they might find paradise and they might put themselves in a situation where they were just so wrong about what they thought, and once they got there, it changed their life, and now they're living and doing business, and now they're having an incredible life. And for people like Dahoudi, you know, he is building a new future. You know, he's a new family man. You know,
That's right.
So it's incredible. And
that's right. And Dahoudi, who's building a new future, has a small child son. He's probably, what, 3-4 years old now? Dahoudi, had he stayed in the Bay Area where he had developed his career and lived for many, many years, he was supposed to be dead of pancreatic cancer. He goes to Africa, and he's alive. He's young again. Got a second life just beginning.
That's what we talk about, the fountain of youth.
It's the fountain of youth and real, because the food you're going to eat is fresh. Most of it's going to be organic, non-GMO food. You know, they don't really have a lot of refrigerators and all those kind of things, even though many of the people have those things. Just that the cultural patterns of the societies still support daily market foraging for the freshest of food. The fish that you're going to eat today in Ghana was caught no later than yesterday. Am I telling the truth?
Absolutely. You see the fishermen out there every day, so you know, and they're out there early, so you know it gets around, and by the time you're ready for new fish, it's another day. So it's a whole different concept. You know, it's going back to the way, you know, when we look at how we live, are we going to continuously destroy ourselves by eating processing food and continually depend on a system to provide our daily needs? Like we talk about sustainability, some of us have our frustrations with the power company, the water company, internet company, gas company, and all these other companies. I have my same issues with them also, and that's why it's like, you know, we're thinking about more sustainable. Use some of the current technology to you get the access to land, and you start building your resources and putting these things in place. That way, eventually in the future, you have something sustainable to live to, and you don't have to just be frustrated for the rest of your life. So I'm basically saying to our brothers and sisters, if you have certain issues with America, Ghana is one of those open countries for you. But at the same time, too, you have to look at the fact that certain infrastructures is not in place all over the place. But at the same time, too, that gives you the perfect opportunity to go off the grid and be sustainable, or also contribute to the growing of the development and investment of the infrastructure there in the country.
Now, okay, you bring up that point, and this is a very relevant point, because a lot of us are so used to the conveniences of living in America or UK or France or other countries. Brother Bomani, when I walk to my light switch, flick the switch, the lights come on. Predictable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I turn on the water tap, the cold water runs. When I turn on the other side, the hot water runs. Very predictable. 7 days a week, 24/7, unless I don't pay the bills. Africa does have its challenges, Brother Bomani. And Africa was where I learned, well, actually, I actually learned it in Jamaica, to take a bird bath. Talk to us about the challenges that Africa does have, and whether this should keep others away from going there, or should they bring their talents and skills and help to fill in those gaps?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about reversing the brain drain. That's ideal, because so many of our talented, skilled brothers and sisters who get the scholarship, who get the opportunities to leave the African continent, leave the Caribbean, they're here in America and the European nations, and they're giving their skills to the so-called corporations that are paying them the AKA big bucks. But realistically, if more and more of them are not going to return to their homeland, we have to think about the Africans in the diaspora, those of us who have that ancestral connections, and we have a certain issue or certain frustration, and even if that's what it takes to drive us to be open to Africa, those are opportunities for us to take advantage of. So it's one of those things. We want to get more skilled brothers and sisters on the African continent to the point where we start building certain institutions where we're training ourselves as a people, and we don't have to go to Europe or America to learn how to be a civil engineer, learn how to be, learn how to be this any skill that we need. We should be able to do that on the African continent at the highest level, and build that level of self-sufficient and independence. I know it's simple to talk that way, but doing it is another thing. But that's the point of just doing that process step by step, and that's why the tour program that we offer, it gives you that great connection. And then once you add your research, you could be right there in the African continent doing wonderful things.
So when you talk about Africa's brain drain, we have to realize that there is a flex. There is a two-way movement of intelligence and experience. What brings me to mind immediately is the case of Patrick Awuah. He's the founder of the Ashesi Technical College there in Accra, Ghana. Have you had a chance to stop by Ashesi yet?
No, I've not. I know we did talk about that. Yeah, we did talk about it earlier this year. But I'm gonna get the information and see what we can happen between this tour and the next tour, and see where it is in range from where we have to travel. Yeah,
I really do intend to be on the next tour. I know I say that every year, but I'm seriouser this year. But
yes, Keith, yeah, we got you on the next journey. As long as your dates are clear, May 23rd to June 5th next year.
Those dates,
in 6 months.
Those dates have just been cleared, if they weren't already. But I do want to, on this next trip, and I'm going to plant the seed in our listeners' minds right now, because a lot of people out here are serious. They're sincere. They may not have traveled to Africa, but they understand what you were talking about long-term return on investment. But this time, I want to take over at least two components of an integrated renewable energy grid system called microgrids.
Oh, yes, my favorite system.
Yeah, so we're talking about, we want to take over photovoltaic, meaning the solar panels. Also want to take over windmills, which are actually becoming relatively inexpensive and could do very, very well, especially in the coastal regions where you're going to get the winds, the harmattans, and the other ocean breezes that will drive these windmills. But, we can also start to sow the seeds of other renewable energy sources, such as using waste materials to generate methane gas and other components as well. It's called a renewable energy microgrid. And if anybody just does a little bit of web search and do a day of research on this, you'll understand not only the feasibility of this, but the fact of the matter is that around the world, they're seeing the creation of new millionaires as they go to remote regions where it's too difficult to string electronic wires and electronic grid system to these remote areas. And they're setting up microgrids where that might service 20 or 30 houses or maybe a couple of lodges or something like that. And there's actually quite a good return on investment in that. And that can give you and I, Brother Bomani, a leg up to 20 years from now be owners of a private electricity corporation that serves a large population in multiple countries. But we got to start that work now.
Absolutely, and that's the best place we can start right now, is this right now, and that's why we link the program to where if people don't know where to start and what to do, I tell them come on a journey, and that automatically begins your start. It gets you prepared, clear on many things. It gets you connected to the country, gets you in and out and link. And that's why I just keep, we keep doing these journeys, because that's how I've been able to gain the concept and clarity of the full process of nation building and what we need to do as far as building these communities in Africa and using sustainable energy, and also just connecting and just building the group energy for investments.
That's right. Again, we ask you, our listening audience, join our conversation. Give us a call on our Blog Talk Radio queue, area code 646-716-9835. When in the queue, press the 1 button on your phone. That'll send me a flag and let me know that you want to contribute to the conversation as well. If you've been to Africa, give us a call. Share your testimony. Share your experience. All is not perfect there. So some people may share their experience. Brother Bomani, I've heard people's testimonies about going to Africa. And, you know, without, you know, going into too much detail, I've heard some people say, I miss my Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm going back to America.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where some people are going to be so infatuated with these destructive things that we have available. You drive down off any exit, and when you're driving down south or north, you're going to run into the corporations of fast food junk that's going to just kill you little by little right there, and it's easy access down the main street. But when you come to Ghana, you're more of it's more of like, you know, traditional cooking, home meal, more family, more culture. So it's different, it's unique. But you know, we just have to get away from these fast concepts, and you know. But understand, some people, that's all you know in life, and that's why we have a wonderful journey that will open you up. You just have to, you know, make the commitment and join us on the journey.
That's right.
And then if you just don't feel Africa, you can stay and enjoy your wonderful America. But I almost never meet anyone that feel that way. You know, it's almost a full transformation.
You and I had a chance in May of this year, 2017, to travel to Ethiopia together. That was my first trip. I believe your first trip as well. I have been saying, Brother Bomani, to all of my Christian brothers and sisters here, if you've been considering going to Israel or Jerusalem as your spiritual Mecca, your spiritual journey of a lifetime, you don't know about Ethiopia. It is the singularly most, not only most Christian nation I've ever witnessed, but their Christianity is preserved. It has a 2,000-year heritage that's been preserved. Their Bible's still in the original language. What do you say about the Christians having their Mecca journey to Ethiopia?
I said that's perfect. You know, we talk about the new Jerusalem, and Ethiopia is perfect. It has the various terrains and culture and many different things going on in the country, including lots of future investments, and that's why you have a lot of you know, Indian groups there, different groups and nations from Asia.
Yeah, they're coming in and they're doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. And they're having a great return on investment. China is over there building roads, building railroads. They are also building, well, they built the light rail, the first light rail in Africa in Addis Ababa. And China building major infrastructure for which they are doing a development for resources deal. And the resources they get out of it allows China to remain the world's leading industrial manufacturing power, taking over that from the United States. So we need to really reconsider our relationship there as well.
Yeah, you know, what you just mentioned, that's what you call real power.
Talk
about industrial power. That means you can build all the things you need, and you can manufacture whatever you need to manufacture. All you need is just the resources. So that's our issue. We have all the things we need in Africa, and we have to get our mindset into, you know, re-industrializing in the 21st century to where we can. And I'm not saying that we're not doing, because we talk about the car manufacturers in Ghana, in you know, in Nigeria. We talk about certain things, but at the same time, too, you know, that has to be, you know, that has to be more of the priority for us to really build everything that we need in Africa. I know it's not as simple as that, but we have everything we need on the continent to get it done, and including those of us in the African diaspora that are willing to return and connect to the African continent and be a part of the growth and contribute our skills and any other thing that we can contribute.
And that doesn't necessarily mean they have to give up a presence in the United States, that they have to give up U.S. citizenship, even though we know the first group of 34 immigrants from repatriation immigrants from the U.S. and the Caribbean, I think from Europe. In Ghana this year, they offered citizenship now to that first group, including Sister Amicus and some of the other people we know. It doesn't mean you have to give it up over here. According to my philosophy, and we're going to take a call after your response, that keeping a dual presence, one foot in the West or America, Canada, Britain, wherever they're listening from, and one foot on the African continent in several companies, in several countries, is actually the optimal way to build tremendous wealth. Your thoughts? And then we're going to go to area code 313. Well, really about keeping a dual foot. One foot in the West and one foot on the African continent. That allows us to make even more money by being that bridge.
A great example, Imacus. She's she didn't give up her citizenship in America, so she's able to go back and make certain moves. And other people also. Yeah, so it's not a situation where you're forced to do that. But if people want to do that, that's fine. But we're just letting people know that that's not something that's you want to do. You want to keep your access to to what you have going on, and use some of the resources to connect and bring more people over, and get more access to capital and additional resources, and use it for your benefit.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna go to the telephone line, area code 313. You've been patiently holding on. Do give us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Claudia Helton. I'm calling from Detroit, 313.
Welcome, Claudia. Now, are you on a speaker? Are you on a speaker phone or something like that? You sound a little distant from the phone.
No, I'm off the speakerphone now.
Okay, we got you, Claudia. What's on your mind today?
Okay, I wanted to chime in on your testimony of Africa. Yes. There are two aspects, probably quite a few more, but two for sure that I can attest to. Mm-hmm. One is if you are anywhere interested in being an African American or an African from the diaspora, from whatever the country, do travel to Africa. Do make a spiritual journey there. It's enlightening. It actually keys into your DNA from wherever your ancestor had left from the door of no return.
That's right.
And if you're on a girls' trip or if you are trying to have a romantic honeymoon, go to Bamako. It's the most alluring, romantic place I've ever been to in my life, and I've traveled quite a while.
Awesome. That is really beautiful. Bomani, did you want to respond?
My sister, appreciate your energy and your reaffirmation. And that's what it takes. It takes traveling and moving around and comparing things. I've been to 6 continents, 30 plus countries, and I've been able to really compare situations before even I decided to make a repatriation movement. But that's what it takes, and there's so many incredible countries in Africa, and so many wonderful things are going. And that's why I'm also always mentioning to my folks that if you're looking to do your honeymoon, you're looking to take a vacation, looking to do a getaway, think about Africa. Think outside of the box of what you're being thrown to, because it's everything is in Africa, and so we just have to keep on marketing things that way and just setting things up to accommodate people more.
That's right. Claudia, did you have a follow-up comment and/or question?
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you put out here for us. I do want to know if there's any way we can recap this after the live broadcast.
If you
because we do have sisters that would love to key in, because we told them about you, but they have no way of.
Yeah.
I have their work doing live broadcast.
The preferred way is if you go to our archives at libradio.com /7MAC, or you can just go to 7mac.com. That's 7mac.com. That's a $5. Okay. We'll give you the archive or a permanent copy, which you can then share with your circle of associates. But if they're on social media, on Facebook or YouTube, you can go to my page, Kidi Awado, on either Facebook or YouTube, where for right now I'm still pushing up the videos of today's broadcast, of every day's broadcast. So by any means necessary, we have to get this information to our people. And then again, if they get it from LIB Radio, they will be supporting us financially as well.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. And no, we will also support you. So that's a great thing. Keep it out here. Keep it like you're keeping it. And remember, if you want a spiritual quest and you have any type of African DNA, go to the doors of no return.
That's right.
Feel that, live that, breathe that. It will change your complete aspect and your aspirations as to how to bridge the gap and how to become more of what you really are anyway.
That is so important. Thank you, Claudia. Don't you make us wait so long to hear your voice again on your LIB Radio.
Thank you, sister.
All right. Thank you now.
Greetings. Brother Monty, let's take another call. Who's been patiently hanging on? Area code 503. Do give us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, Keely. I am temporarily calling from Oregon. This is Cindy.
Welcome, Cindy.
I just have a really quick comment. I just met a man from Ethiopia, and he actually was the first Uber driver here in the state of Oregon, and he was on the commercial, and he actually now has saved enough money. He is going back to Ethiopia here in the next few years, and he is actually going to open up something similar to Uber.
That's right.
He came here and learned all that stuff, and now he's going back to Ethiopia to give back to his country. And I just thought that would be something of interest since you're on this subject today.
Brother Bomani, Cindy makes an excellent point, is that people who have just a ordinary career in the United States can learn all of the aspects of running the business that they work for. I had the ground level job in a biological research laboratory when I was about 19 years old. And during the course of the 4 years that I worked there, I learned everybody's job in the laboratory, including the primary researcher's job. And then I graduated, got fired. I graduated from there, and I've taken those life skills out into the world. I've done primary research. I've done microbiological work. And, of course, the human anatomy. I've really become a specialist at that. I've met people who are retiring from working at a sanitation plant. And I've said to them, you're young. You still got energy. Don't sit at home, sit on the sofa, watch TV until your body turns to liquid and you start to die. Form your own company, contracting company. If there's something at that plant that you don't understand, then hire the people who do understand as co-contracting agents and take that to these African governments, many of whom have a lot of cash and not a lot of established infrastructure. Your thoughts, Brother Bomani?
Perfect, guys. Perfect opportunity for us to make these moves. And as she was talking about coming here and learning certain things, I myself, from Jamaica and came to America, and since I've been from 13 to now 40, I've learned all kind of different things in the world of IT, electronic, technical work that I've built a career for me, especially my independence, and a lot of the advanced things I'm working on and looking to push. I'm looking to do it in Africa, and the good thing is things are already set up here, so now I can make the move over a little easier. So those are some ideas, but I'm letting people know that you have access to an incredible market in America, especially if you want to learn anything technologically or you want to build any kind of experience. But the thing is, I want folks to understand that we need to use these energies to bring back to the continent and be a part of the future.
And let me go back to you, Cindy. I know another thing, and I've been saying this to people, anyone who will listen. When we find people like this ambitious Ethiopian man, and many times we'll find people with long-term career ambitions, we should find them early in their careers and become investing partners with them. We can be silent partners. But if he goes back to Ethiopia with $5,000 US cash available as his in business development investment, he could probably do very, very well. Your thoughts on that?
he actually is buying cars right now that he is going to be taking with him because he actually looked into it and he can get better cars here and ship them. And he has a business partner, and he actually asked me to help him with it. I'm considering it. I'm highly considering it. It sounds like a very lucrative thing. They don't have anything quite like that in Ethiopia. So it is going to be very, and he said the cities are growing. He said they're getting huge. He said they're building more, better infrastructure, better roads, better everything. He said pretty soon, he said that's going to be the thing there just like it is here.
That's right. Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, is actually the kind of the capital of the continent. That's where the AU headquarters are. And it is on track to becoming Africa's third megacity. And so that's a great development. Any further thoughts? We have another caller I'm going to go to. Cindy?
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it.
All right. Brother Bomani, you mind if we just take this third call since we're nearing the end of the show? And, of course, you're going to get a chance to share your contact information for Africa for the Africans. Caller from area code 267. Your name. Where are you calling from? Area code.
Greetings.
Yes.
This is Alpha Griot.
Alpha Griot, my brother, my brother. Aquaba, welcome.
I'm doing well, brother. Greetings. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. The question I had is this. You both were speaking about business opportunities over there.
That's right.
Is there any certain business that you would recommend someone get into to transfer from America to Ghana or any other country?
Wow, that's a great question, Brother Bomani.
Yes, you can. Most of the things I think about manufacturing. I think about the fruits and the vegetables that you have in abundance, and I think about ways you can preserve, you can juice. I think about all of the clothing we need, and we have to import clothing. I think about sewing machines in the manufacturing where we're producing our own clothes. Those are some of the basic things, but there's not one or two. It's what I look at is just based on someone's passion and what they're into, more so than what they're looking to make some cash or money off. Like example, my love and passion as far as work is tourism and electronic system and the whole technical world. And I can see myself there doing that in Ghana. I feel like anything in technology, since the world is more technology advanced, is a great investment. But whatever we do, we want to set up something that we can own our investment and something we can share and grow with our own people on the continent.
Brother Alpha Griot, Bomani touched on some very important areas. I was making notes. I've written several books on this topic. And he mentioned agribusiness. Now, agriculture in Africa is expanding very rapidly. It's expected to triple by the year 2030 to $1 trillion annually. That's some $660 billion increase annually over the 2015 figures. So agriculture, Africa's got great momentum, but they need manufacturing through to finished products. They grow great organic cotton in Africa. It needs to be translated to finished products. Light manufacturing, a very important area where the machines that we need to do light manufacturing are fairly inexpensive and could easily be translated. Import, export is always going to be great. Energy development. Between now and 2050, it is anticipated there will be $3 trillion of investment in energy development across Africa, where currently about 70% of the population is still underserved. So $3 trillion gives you and I a tremendous base to expand within. Labor added value. Ethiopia is one of those countries that's benefiting tremendously from inexpensive, high-quality labor. Now, they develop a lot of leather in Ethiopia. Whereas before they were exporting the leather, now they're setting up shoe manufacturing machines, and they are manufacturing Ethiopian shoes, and they're being imported into the United States. You can find them. They're rather high-end because these shoes are awesome. You've seen them?
I think I read about it actually online before. They're up there in quality, the same as the Italians.
That's right, because
in fact,
labor added value.
Doing it for them.
High quality, low cost labor. Mm-hmm.
I had a question. You were saying something earlier about the manufacturing and things like that. Doesn't the USDA have a program like where we could actually take equipment and stuff to other countries? I thought I read something about that.
Well, you do have the AGOA Act, the African Growth and Opportunities Act, which reduces or eliminates tariffs from some 28 African countries. So that makes it easier for us to exchange machines and technology transfer from here to the continent. And that's what Bomani and I do. We do technology transfer. We took an FM radio station. We're taking over of integrated renewable energy systems. So technology transfer, even laptop computers, is a great way of doing technology transfer. So all kind of opportunities. If you get my book, and I know you have it already, therepairing.com, I go extensively into this. We got two more callers that have come on. Let's get a final comment and or a question from you, Alpha Griot, before we go to the next two callers.
No, I just appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thanks a lot. I'm going to continue listening.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your energy.
All right. Thank you, brother Alpha Griot. Brother Bomani, we're getting a lot of calls on this. It's a popular topic. Can we keep going, or did you want to round out anything was just said?
Sure. I'm open for the questions.
Yeah, we love the callers here on LIB Radio. Next, we're going to area code 651. I have you up. Your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brother Kenny. This is Marlena calling from Minneapolis.
Greetings, Marlena. Always great to hear from you. You're on with Brother Bomani Tayemba. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to talk about, obviously, the topic of conversation this morning. You had asked a while ago if folks who had been to Africa would call in, and I've been to Nigeria 4 times, and every time I've gone, I've seen opportunity after opportunity, and I'm a huge proponent of us, what you mentioned, having 1 foot here in the West and 1 foot in Africa. Mm-hmm. My husband and I, we're actually planning on purchasing property in Nigeria. But I mean, every time I go, I just see opportunity after opportunity. And one thing that comes to mind is property management. I've worked in property management for the last 10 years or so. And in Nigeria and maybe in other countries, what I've noticed is that they have these what are called compounds, which are essentially apartment complexes. Mm-hmm. And they're in various states of disrepair and maybe owned by one person. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, wow, that's the opportunity for folks with property management experience to come over and start property management companies where you're managing the properties for these people, providing, like you just mentioned, labor added value where you're doing preventative maintenance, repairing the roads for these folks, because a lot of times, like a couple of them we went to, they're really difficult to get to because the roads are so bad. Mm-hmm. And so, you're like doing damage to your car trying to, drive up into these compounds. And then on top of that, when I did see maintenance being done, oftentimes it was rudimentary. So I would see folks with scaffolding made from bamboo and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I just think there's huge opportunities for that type of work and collaboration.
Bomani?
Excellent. Property management is an awesome business in Africa. Maintenance, repair, another great business. So combining it works. It's one of those concepts where sometimes you're in a developing nation, and that's not the nature of things. So for those who understand those those avenues, it's perfect. Example. When I talk about building sustainable communities and us setting up things for repatriation, mm-hmm. that's the level of property management that we're going to need to where when people leave their property and they have to go back to their home for 6 months or so, we're handling things for them. We're making sure that there's no issues or problems, and we're doing maintenance. I can definitely see that work just all across the continent, or just in general. So, excellent, my sister. I just wish you all the best in Nigeria and everything. And I'm always wanting people to come to Ghana. But I'm happy to hear of a successful story in Nigeria. We don't hear much about people repatriating and living and doing investment projects in Nigeria. At least I don't. I usually just hear about Ghana.
That's right. Sister Marlena?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I know it's a little bit dicey as well in Nigeria, the political climate. So it might not be the most desirable place for folks to repatriate to, but I mean, I still think it has great potential just from what I've seen. And the people are great. I'm always one that's really trying to dispel the notion or the myth that Africans don't like us. I absolutely hate it when folks say that, because it's patently untrue. African people are the most welcoming people. I can't accurately describe how welcoming Nigerian people were to me when I was there, each time I was there. So I would recommend it. And there's also lots of tourist sites, Nikkei Art Gallery and different things. So, I recommend it. Outside of the current political climate, I think it has great potential as well.
All right, that sounds great. Marlena,
Alrighty.
What a joy to hear from you. Don't you make us wait so long to hear your voice again on your LIB radio, all right?
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, beloved. Call in, do so right now, as Brother Bomani is going to begin wrapping up the conversation. Brother Bomani, talk to the people once more about Africa for the Africans and how they can learn more about the group and the trips. And, perhaps go ahead and sign up and say, hey, 2018, I'm going to be there.
Yes, greetings, family. Yeah, we have some wonderful deals, and we're 6 months away from the Ghana May 23rd to June 5th, 2018 tour, the Journey of a Lifetime, 4 regions. And we're currently accepting deposits and registration commitments, and all the details are on our website at africafortheafricans.org. And once you go on the website, you just go down to the main menu and you click on the Ghana Tour May 2018. We also have Brazil, July 2018, and Ethiopia with optional Tanzania for November 2018. So once you click on the links for those journeys, it opens up and you have a full details, full overview, itinerary, visa information, what to pack, what to bring, and a lot of other supporting details. And then we also have relative conference calls every month. We go through all of the details to get everyone prepared and ready for the journey of a lifetime in the different countries you go to. So it's something we've been doing professionally since October 2006, and have made 13 full journeys, 12 in Ghana and 1 in Brazil, and look to do many more with our people. You can reach out to me directly if you have questions and you want to talk directly at 404-931-9429. You can send an email to aft2010a2010@msn.com, and you can connect with us on youtube.com/Bomani2007 and facebook.com/Bomani, and check out our videos and pictures and reach out, and we'll get you connected on the journey of a lifetime.
Great. Can we take one more call before we wrap up this first hour? Area code 313. We have you up. Your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, Detroit. This is Claudia again.
Yes, Claudia.
I just wanted to ask the question pertaining to, like you say, investments or development within the African diaspora, preferably the Ghana area.
Yes.
In Detroit and some other urban cities in America, we are dealing with what they call small homes. They're like 200 to 350 square feet.
That's right.
But it takes a particular infrastructure for it, which is not heavy laden, because with the new industrial changes, like with plumbing, and you use PEX piping, which is really like a plastic malleable piping system. And I would like to know if that would be a possible investment there.
Brother Bomani?
Yes, that is a possible investment. It's just really all about what people are open to, and I prefer people to connect with investments. That's something that.
Well, I'm saying like if it was something in the framework of not bed and breakfast, but where you possibly come and you have your own little dwelling for 7 days or whatever your tour season is, and it provides housing for you where you can be independent, but you're also within a group of individual structures, but small.
All right, cool. So it's not really a tour, but yeah, those are the thing I feel when you're dealing with tourism and accommodations and reservations. Those are the things that those are the business that you can literally get into. You just have to make your mark and build your foundation, and then also just build your specialty and kind of build your, build a word around what you're looking to do. So the natural work, for marketing and promotions. But yeah, all of those are great concepts, including the bed and breakfast and including the resorts and more for me. Sustainable resorts and time sharing. I think that's what you're also talking about. A concept of like time sharing.
Okay.
So,
And I just pulled up a story which I pushed up on my Facebook page. The story is entitled "South Korea in $10 billion Ghana Homes Deal." Now, the story is from 2009, so we've been covering this. This is actually one from 2008, so we've been covering this for a few years. Ghana's cities are said to be woefully short of housing. A South Korean firm has agreed to build 200,000 homes in Ghana over the next 6 years at a cost of $10 billion. Now, $10 billion divided by 200,000 homes. Let me just show you how much that is per home. Equals about $50,000 per home. Now, those are probably homes with 3 beds, at least 1 or 2 baths, etc. And when you're talking about building mini housing, micro housing, there's even greater potential there. So I say it is a fantastic idea, and we should begin practicing to build those homes right here in this country. Once we perfect our techniques, our models, and our manufacturing process, then we move them to Africa and train the local workforce for doing so. It's one of the reasons why we have been pursuing Kujichagulia villages over the past few years, where we can actually begin to practice the practical application of these concepts.
And that's a perfect idea.
Absolutely.
The Kujichagulia village is always an excellent idea as far as a Kujichagulia village. It's going back to that sustainable community concept for nation building and us being self-sufficient and self-reliant. That puts you in that object mindset and location to do those things. When you're just dumped off into a city like in Accra, and you just get caught up into this being just like if you were in Atlanta or in a major city in America.
Claudia, we're going to wrap it up right now. Your final thoughts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia, for calling in. And
final thought is I'm going to start investigating the concept.
That's right. That's right. And keep me informed as well, as I do have a lot of research and experience. And, we can talk about incorporating you into our Kujichagulia Villages projects as well, which will be a good example of us. Let's go out there and let's start building these tiny homes.
All right. That's a wonderful thing. I will do.
Greetings to you, beloved. Brother Bomani, I've enjoyed our conversation today. We're going to have to wrap it up. Once again, your contact information and your final thoughts for this morning's show.
Yes, family, connect with me as 404-931-9429. Website, africafortheafricans.org. And final thought is we'd love to get any of you interested in connecting to Africa on any of our journeys for next year, primarily Ghana, and begin to build your connection to this reconnected African continent, and also linking you with repatriation investment as you're open. So family, reach out to me and I can connect with you. Kitty, appreciate your energy. Family, you take care, and we'll connect back next time.
All right, Brother Bomani, we appreciate that. Do connect with him. And also, when you connect with Africa for the Africans, tell Brother Bomani that you heard about it on your favorite LIB radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com, where we have, since the first time I heard about Africa for the Africans, we have always, very consistently, been in support of this organization. I know some people may have some risk adversity to traveling to Africa, or who do you travel with, I always say that of all of the experiences I've had traveling to Africa, Africa for the Africans has got it down. They've got it very well organized. I've traveled with other groups. They do a great job. AfricaForTheAfricans.org is my favorite. Thank you, Brother Bomani. And on that note, and we're going to be talking science, the science of longevity. Specifically, we're going to be talking about extending our life expectancy by engaging in processes that repair, restore, revitalize our DNA. So we're talking about health. We're talking about genetics. We're talking about longevity. Don't you even think about going nowhere. You're tuned into your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com.